kindness,
determined,
supportive,
trustworthy,
fabulous,
caring,
compassionate,
understanding,
amazing,
generous,
valuable,
imaginative, genuine.
Anti-bullying is really important because we as a school don't stand for any sort of harassment, bullying or discrimination. So this week is all about making sure all of our students understand and know that, and making our stance really, really clear. So it's important to remember as part of Anti-Bullying Week that we're doing this to support our whole school community. So when you think about bullying, you might think about physical bullying, but we can also mean verbal bullying and also bullying online. It's important that you know that this is not acceptable and that you know how to report it. So this week we're really working on raising awareness around bullying issues and also on how to report these. And ultimately, you need to know that you can speak to any member of staff about reporting any concern. When it comes to reporting a concern, or if you're not sure what constitutes bullying or what bullying is, essentially, remember what I said a couple of weeks ago. Any statement that someone finds offensive is an offensive statement. So please bear in mind the language that you use and how you use it, because what you might think is banter or just jokes, if somebody finds that offensive, then it is offensive and you lose ownership of that statement. So it might be that you've said something that you think is a joke and it's not that serious, but it might be really offensive towards somebody else and they might consider that bullying. So you need to be careful about your language because you don't want to be caught up in a situation where you didn't mean to cause offence. But think about the language you use.
When I see someone get bullied, I feel upset because bullying creates an atmosphere where people aren't allowed to express their differences. And I feel like one of the most important things as a community is expressing our different ways and sharing them with others.
I think there's loads of different sorts of bullying. I think you can be cyberbullied, you can be physically bullied, and a lot of the times you can be verbally bullied and things that people say to you can really hurt you. There's also a lot of other types and different ways that you can be bullied, and it's important to know what bullying is when it's happening.
An example of bullying is like, say I liked football and then someone came up to me and was like, you're really bad at football, you can't kick a football. It can stop them from doing it and like stop what they liked.
I think people bully other people because it comes from a place of deep insecurity, a negative place where it's easier to project on other people rather than facing your own problems yourself.
I think people bully other people because they're insecure and they feel probably alone and trapped, so they tend to take their problems out on other people.
I think some people bully because of their past, something that's happened to them, or maybe just generally insecurities. That when it's all like compressed inside of them, bubbled up, it can not just turn into upsetness but also anger that could be misdirected onto other people.
If I was to speak to a bully and let them know with 3 words how that they have made me feel, they would be small, belittled and worthless.
I think a lot of the time when people bully other people, it's normally because that they have quite a lot of problems with themselves, and a lot of the time they can like project onto other people, and that's why that they choose to bully other people. And I don't think that excuses that behaviour, but I think deep down a lot of the time that is the reason why people bully others.
So as a counsellor in the school, and also there are, there's a couple of other counsellors working in the school as well, we do see a lot of children who really struggle with the effects of bullying. So it can be, intentional or even unintentional, passing comment that's a little bit mean or even as a joke sometimes can really be carried with the person for a long time afterwards and really affect their sense of self, and it's something they might continue to think about for a long time afterwards. So it's really important to think about the kind of words that you might say. It's really important to be understanding that something you say might really affect someone. You don't know what's going on for them in their lives.
So as a police officer, I've seen a lot of effects of
bullying. Especially with young people, you can go from mass amounts, whether it be absolutely not affected by it at all. You can also go up to the point where people are scared to go out, people are scared to go to school, they want to harm themselves. It goes as mass as that. So personally for me, I've dealt with many people who've felt depressed, anxious, they don't want to go in, they don't want to go out to the shops maybe. They're scared of seeing the person that has even if it's just the same word every day, like you're an idiot, that kind of stuff has really affected them, and they start to believe that that's what they're like. And a lot of people, they keep quiet about it, and they're worried that if they speak out that it will happen more. But obviously we're looking at making sure that it doesn't happen at all, so that everyone can feel happy and safe inside the school.
I believe that people should be more aware, and that you are safe if you speak to an adult member of staff or your friends about it. And if you think that someone will judge you upon that, then you shouldn't speak to that person, because then they don't have good intentions.
Bullying is just, why would you do it? Because it's really rude. And being mean is this, even if you're getting back at someone, you shouldn't be rude back, because if you get back at someone saying something rude or sabotage something they're doing, it could become something even more worse, and it could lead to troubles with the school, the family, the way you think, your mindset, and sometimes you can even go into depression.
As a teacher, I often hear of incidents of what I guess would be called banter, where students are sort of joking with other students about things that are actually maybe quite hurtful, and on the surface maybe the student who you're bantering with is laughing and maybe even joining in and making fun of themselves, but what I'd like students to know is that they don't see the after effects of those conversations and the banter. They don't see the student in tears talking to the teacher and telling the teacher what had happened, and they don't quite comprehend or understand the hurt that may have been caused from those sort of jokey conversations.
The advice I would give to any student being bullied in school or outside school would be find your voice even when it's really tough, and talk about it, because there will always be someone who will listen. There's always an ear to listen to it, so where possible try and dig deep inside to find your voice to discuss it.
I think it's important for teachers and students to be aware of bullying and to be aware what's happening, and especially students' responsibility to make sure your friends are okay, make sure you check up on your friends, and if your friends are feeling upset, if your friends are feeling sad, you should ask them if they're doing all right.
So there are two main things you can do to address bullying. The first thing you need to do is make sure that you report any form of bullying. That can be to your head of year, can be to your tutor, but really any member of staff that you feel comfortable with. I think the main reason that students don't report bullying is they're worried about the idea of snitching, and it's important to note that reporting bullying is definitely not snitching. Reporting bullying means that bullying can stop, and we can use an adult to help that happen. Once you've reported bullying, it doesn't mean that staff will go straight to that student and say that you snitched. We'll work with you throughout the process to make sure that it's followed up discreetly and as discreetly as possible. And one thing that we will make sure is that you are comfortable with the way that we are following up the incident. Following up bullying may just be a simple action like making sure that your teachers understand to keep an eye on you in lessons or in the playground. The second thing you can do is to make sure that you're an upstander. So that means that if you see bullying or you see any form of hate, make sure you report that, and also you stand up for the person there and then. Don't allow the bully to be supported, make sure that you support the victim.
I guess I'd like students to know that if something doesn't feel right, then it's not right, and you should tell someone. You should tell a teacher or a parent or a friend, so you don't have to deal with the hurt and pain that maybe you feel from unkind things being said.
Make someone smile. In a world where there's so much negativity, and if you know me, I say this a lot, when you make someone smile, not only does it do much for them, it also helps you feel better as well.
So if you've been bullied, or you've witnessed any bullying, abuse, harassment or discrimination, you need to report it. The best way to do that is to email stop@sns.hackney.sch. You can also talk to a member of staff or tell your parents who can report it to school. We really want to make a point of this. This is any form of bullying, abuse or harassment, be it in person, verbal, physical or online, you must report it. You can do that by speaking to a member of staff, talking to a parent, or emailing stop@sns.hackney.sch.uk.